today on the channel we've got my brother, Charlie. How you doing, man?
Alright, I'm good.
This is why he's not covering the channel much. So today on the channel, we are going to be ranking every single Mandalorian character. Some Mandalorian characters haven't got a pop, but the ones that do, we are going to be ranking them in a tier list system. So, are you excited to do this today?
I actually am.
Yeah?
Yeah, it'd be good.
So, how it's going to work, guys, we have got 5 tiers. The top tier is, do you remember?
This is the way.
So, top tier is This Is The Way. So, This Is The Way, Wizard, Balance to the Force, I Have Spoken, and Sarlacc Pip. You ready to get started?
Let's do it.
So there's quite a lot to get through, so let's crack on with it. The first one we are going to start with is Fennec Shand. So Charlie, where would you rate Fennec Shand, the pop, and as a character?
I think Fennec Shand is pretty average so far. She's interesting, but I don't think she's had that sort of crucial character moment where I really feel like I care about her. She's like this cool assassin. The actress is like 58 years old, and she doesn't look 58 in the show, for sure. She's quite cool. I really like the fact that she's got this like droid stomach parts now as part of her character. And the fact that she's kind of loyal to Boba Fett and all that kind of stuff, and she has that aspect to her character, I like. I'd probably rate her as like a balance to the Force.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Balance to the Force. For me, I haven't read any of the comics or know too much about Fennec Shand previously. I knew she was in the Clone Wars, but I felt she'd be a character that would see briefly and not appear again. So once she's returned again, we've seen her in Book of Boba Fett, I've been a bit surprised. I didn't really expect to see this much of her.
She's a good side character. She's serviceable, but not much more than that in my opinion so far. But she's got potential to have like a good character moment at some point. It just hasn't happened yet, basically.
So Fennec Shand, balance to the Force. Okay, guys. So next up we have got Dark Trooper. Now I think we see the Dark Trooper in season 2. It's one of Moff Gideon's troopers. It's really confusing now after the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. You almost have to watch it again to remember what takes place. You know.
No, that was before the massive reveal that comes at the end of the Mandalorian season 2, and these guys were like the really badass ones where you're like, how the hell are they gonna beat them? And I think for what they are, balanced to the Force, nothing really special, but for what they did in the story, pretty alright. And as far as the pop goes, I'd say it's alright. It's nothing special. It's not something that really appeals to me, but it's okay.
I agree with most of what you said there. I mean, we've had like the prequels droids, which were quite pathetic, really. I like the droids. They're quite retro now, but as like how powerful they were pretty weak droids, weren't they? But these are quite intimidating. I mean, to fight one as a human, it feels like it would be quite challenging.
There's just something about the design where it's a little bit too simple for me. For what the droid is, I like more of the messy, free CPO type of droid where you feel more intricate parts. This is a bit glossy and not really my kind of thing. Okay,
so we are going for balance to the Force.
Oh yeah, I'd say balance to the Force overall.
Okay, guys. So next up we have got the Death Watch Mandalorian. This is the 2-stripe. I know we have got the 2-stripe version and the no-stripe version. So not a very significant character. Charlie, where would you rate the Death Watch Mandalorian?
Well, I actually before you had to remind me where this character actually comes from, and so it's when Mando, when he's a kid, he gets saved, right? The super battle droid's about to kill him.
It could be that scene, or I think it's the scene where he's trying to take the child away from Greef Karga.
Okay, so.
And he tries to. I remember he holds the gun to the droid, telling him to drive.
Right.
That scene.
This is fine. I would say I have spoken with this. Yeah. Just because the character is obviously not iconic enough for me to remember. The design's fine, but it's basically like a Boba Fett Mandalorian lookalike anyway. So, again, has no strong appeal for me. So I'm going to have to say I've spoken.
Next up. Now, this is an interesting one because it's a really cool pop. But as a character, the character was a bit meh, and nothing really happened. It was a very short scene. So the character I'm talking about is the Trandoshan thug. We see this very, very early on in episode 2. So episode 1 is when the Mandalorian takes the child, and episode 2 is when he's on his journey to find Kuiil. So this is the Trandoshan thug. Do you remember the character? And he has a fight with about 3 of them.
I have no idea. I cannot remember this character for the life of me. This is becoming like a common theme. I mean, I watched the Mandalorian show, both seasons, and Boba Fett. I'm up to episode 6. It is so far, and I barely remember this character.
No.
But it looks cool actually as a pop head. I think it's got some nice intricate designs on it. He's got like a messed up eye. I think this is balanced to the Force just because I like the pop more than I just think this is a just more interesting design overall. Yeah, it's just alright. I like it. I say balanced to the Force. It's not like a very exciting character that's got loads of like great backstory to him. But I would say that just going off the design and I just like it. So I'd say balanced to the Force because it's got a nice appeal to it.
We've got a few characters to get through. This one is picking up a bit now. We have got Moff Gideon to look at. Now, I suppose there's quite a bit to say about Moff Gideon. I don't know where to start. Moff Gideon as a character, how would you describe him? Or what would you say about him as a character?
Well, the main thing is I'm a little biased because one of my favourite TV shows is Breaking Bad, and the guy that plays Moff Gideon, whose name I can't remember, he's a pretty good actor, and he basically plays a similar kind of evil villain type role in Breaking Bad as he does in Star Wars, just a little bit different. I would say he's pretty cool. A little bit inept as a character, like he's more menacing in his performance than perhaps he actually is able to execute his evil plans in the story. So, kind of in retrospect, he's not as dangerous as he first appeared to be. But I would say overall, I like the moustache. As a guy with moustache,
Yeah,
I like the moustache. I'm gonna have to say, wizard.
I was actually going to go balanced to the Force, but I can accept wizard.
He gives a great performance.
I think I'm not slating the actor. I think the actor's a good actor. He's a very good pilot. I think he's a better pilot than he is a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
There was some moments where he was quite threatening to the child, wasn't it? Which was like, I think if you was going to threaten someone like that cute, I mean, you'd have to be quite evil to do that. I think he teased the child quite a bit, didn't he? But yeah, I'm happy to go with wizard. Should we go with wizard?
Yeah, I think he deserves a wizard for the moustache alone, basically.
Next up, we've got someone, quite a random one. We've got the Mythrol. The Mythrol may have only been in 2 episodes. One of the first ever characters we do see in The Mandalorian. What did you make of the Mythrol? Again, very surprised to see the Mythrol again in season 2.
Alright, this guy's going in the Sarlacc pit. Right? Don't like him. And the reason I don't like him is because he almost feels to me, personally, as like a Family Guy character that's found his way into The Mandalorian. Where it's like he's a bit too quippy. He's a bit too like sitcom character for my liking. I know he plays off well better against The Mandalorian because he's getting brought in and put on the ship and then he gets put in carbonite. And that's all fun. And he's sort of like this guy that just kind of worms his way into trouble, and it's fun. I like it, but maybe it's like the voice of the character or something. I just generally don't like it.
Yeah, I'll agree with Sarlacc pit. I feel like for a character like Mandalorian who liked to be quiet, didn't he? He liked his own peace. But the Mythrol was the complete opposite. He was very uncomfortable.
And again,
with
it's not like I don't like funny characters or I don't like quippy characters to a certain point. I mean, I like Marvel movies, but I just don't feel this particular character.
Okay, next up, another character that I'm not sure you'll remember who it is. This one is very brief as well. We've got the Covert Mandalorian. Now, do you remember this one?
No.
This one is when the Mandalorian goes to the armourer and he gets rewarded the Beskar armour.
Alright, let me stop you there. Sarlacc, boring, don't really care, done. Pop's fine, but again, how many of these masked Pops are you going to get where it's literally the same mask with a little bit of a different design? Not really interesting. Sarlacc, goodbye, done.
Okay, next up, we'll see what you say about this one, because as a pop, I love this pop. This is one of my favourite pops from Mandalorian Season 1. It is the Incinerator Stormtrooper. Now, come on, have a look at that pop. That is a cool pop.
Right, my personal opinion, I don't like it.
You don't like the pop?
No, I think that red on its face just looks a bit crap.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It just seems, I don't know. And the flame, I get the idea of it being plastic and the flames like whirling round. And I'll give it this, the body of it is actually quite nice compared to the rest of it. Like, usually the body is kind of like, you can't really pay attention to the pop on it. But I will say, It's fine. Like, what is it? I have spoken, I would say. Nothing really special. I'm not really feeling it, is all. That's it.
We're going to go with the client. Now, what have you made of the client? And the pop itself, the client is holding the tracker.
Wait, that's the old guy who that's the old guy who wants the child, right?
Yeah, that's
Werner Herzog, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the actor's name, but I thought he's a great actor, and the way he talks was very. You had to be silent in the room when he spoke because it was just so elegant the way he spoke.
It's also really funny because if anyone knows Rick and Morty, there's a scene in that where Werner Herzog he does a cameo as an alien, and it's about Jerry. If you know what I'm talking about, then you're laughing, but if you don't, then you can always look for it online. Where Jerry goes into a hostel, an alien hostel. It's really funny. It's cool. I actually think the character fine. The character balanced to the Force.
Okay, I think this could be a wizard category. We're going to talk about Kuiil. Really cool pop. The only thing with the Kuiil pop, I feel like it could be a little bit smaller than it actually is. Sometimes some pops they're a bit smaller, and they could have made Kuiil a little bit smaller. But as a character, it was a great introduction to the Mandalorian TV show.
Do you remember the actor that plays this guy?
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte, that's it. So
the knowledge
for that, because I know like Nick Nolte's great. Like if, for instance, in the movie The Warrior, hit the character he plays in that film is like really cool. Now for me, the actual character is kind of boilerplate. He's fine, but he just filled a role in the Mandalorian as the kind of helps Mandalorian along. Maybe teaches him a small lesson or two. The design, I'm not a big fan of like the pig nose on him.
And talking about the species of the pop.
Like the species and the pop. I think the design's fine, but it's kind of got that Star Wars sequel. It's not. I know it's not from the sequels, but
it's from the originals.
Like from the originals.
Yeah.
What is it?
That character helped put Han Solo in carbonite.
Wow, you learn something new every day. I did not know that.
There you go.
Oh, well, I'll go back on that then. But I will say I don't really like the design.
So not that character, that species.
I don't really like the design of the species. I think it's just a bit monkey-faced, and it's just not that... I don't know, doesn't work for me. But the fact that it's voiced by Nick Nolte, I really like. So at the very least, it has to be balanced to the Force.
Next up, we are going to talk about a character, again, that quite surprised we've seen more than once. I'm going to be talking about the Armourer. Now, the Armourer is in Mandalorian Season 1, Season 2, and now the Book of Boba Fett, which was, again, quite surprising. One thing I love about the Armourer is the voice. I said, I'm not sure if I tweeted it or I spoke about it in a previous video, but it feels like the woman who plays the Armourer could almost like narrate Lord of the Rings. It's just such a really cool voice. But what have you made of the Armourer and the pop? I think the pop's a cool pop.
I feel like the element that her face is hidden, and so you have this mystery about like what does she look like underneath. Obviously you could Google what the actress looks like, but there's always that element of what is she like underneath, and she just really fulfills her role as like the guide, and she's got, whenever she talks, she's always moving the plot forward. She's always doing something. She has a lot of agency as a character in terms of helping the Mandalorian along, and so whenever she turns up, it's never a chore. And it's always interesting.
It's not filler.
It's not filler, it's for sure.
So when she turns up, it's something, the story's progressing.
The fact that she kind of she uses her like hammer as a weapon and as a tool is pretty sick as well. And the fact that she's got this like older design for her helmet, and it's kind of almost like a dwarven type vibe to it, like a barbarian chainmail type thing. Like I think it's really nice. And I'm going to say, because I've got to save the top ranks for later, but I'm going to say Wizard overall for this one. I think she's pretty cool. She does a lot for the story, and the pop is really nice as well. I like the gold and all that, so it's decent.
Next up is a cool one. I really do like this one. Again, a character that's appeared quite a few times. We've got Offworld Jawa. Now, what have you made of the Jawas? Now, in the Book of Boba Fett, we did find out a Jawa's been in a relationship. And
I didn't need to know that.
And the Jawas are furry little things. So that was very interesting. But as the Jawas, they're quite irritating in the first season when they stole Mando's parts of his ship. Mm-hmm. But they seem to be more relevant and meaningful. They've got a bit of a purpose now sometimes when, they're about, and they, I think the latest episode of Book of Boba Fett, episode 6, they harvested the craft dragon, didn't they? And they put that on top of their ship. So they're a big part of the Star Wars world, aren't they?
For me, when I see the Jawas are one of those characters, the creatures in Star Wars I really like, because just the mystery of like what do they look like underneath is like the hood, and we kind of like never really know unless maybe it's an expanded lore or something. But the fact that we don't know, I like that mystery, and I just like the fun of like the dots in their eyes. So the design's simple but really effective. I'm going to say wizard only because, and I don't think the pop's that great, but as the general creature and the character, I'm going to say wizard. Because it just makes me nostalgic for A New Hope, when R2-D2 he's walking along and then they zap him for the first time, he falls over, they take him to Luke and all that, and the cute little voices, they're just very nostalgic to me, and I really like them. So yeah, they're cool.
I'm going to go for Q90. Now Q90, again, a character you thought you'd see once, but they made a second appearance. Do you remember the character?
Vaguely.
It's the one with the guy with the voice from IT Crowd.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. I'd say Balance to the Force, because I felt like he was actually quite well used in the story. When he, like, the whole... He was funny, he was comedic, he was menacing at times in his own small way. The design's bug-like, but he's also, like... Is he a droid?
Just part of a droid, yeah.
Like, he's got this kind of, like... He's a bug and he's a droid. It's kind of cool. Yeah, he's alright. He's balanced to the Force, but nothing really particularly special.
I wouldn't want to see him again, though. I think that's enough for me.
I was thinking that until you said it's the guy from the IT Crowd.
Yeah.
And I think that guy's voice, almost different from the blue guy we was talking about before. I like his voice, and I think he's a nice little addition to the Star Wars kind of cast. So he's alright.
Okay, guys, so next up we have got the Gamorrean Fighter. Now, quite an interesting one. A character we've seen quite a few times now. But Gamorrean Fighters, what have you made of them? Are you a fan of them?
Yep, I like them more than Jawas. I like the design. I think one of the main elements that, after doing this, I realised appeals to me most about certain Star Wars creatures is that the sound design is really important. I like the additional lore that we get in Book of Boba Fett, where they show like they have a sense of loyalty and that kind of thing. It's a little bit contrived, like it's a little bit Disney, but I also think for what they are, it's not like character assassination or anything like that. And they're pretty cool. I think the design's great. It reminds me of something you get from like Lord of the Rings or Conan the Barbarian type story. And as a pophead goes, I think this is probably one of the better ones, because it's such an intricate design. They could probably be a bit fat around the middle, but in the face, I think that's really well done.
I like Funko to do a 2-pack. Or even a 3-pack with Boba in the middle and then 2
that would work.
Fighters on the side.
That'd be decent. A little bit like a chunky Boba. Yeah, I like it. I would say wizard.
Greef Karga. Now, we're big Carl Weathers fans, yeah? We're Carl Weathers fans?
Oh, yeah.
We're Carl Weathers fans?
Yeah, he's decent.
So, I love when he just says the word Mando. It gives me proper nostalgia vibes back to season 1, even though it's not that old yet. But The Mandalorian was one of the first ever shows on Disney Plus, wasn't it? So it just reminds me of Disney Plus now, Greef Karga as well.
We know that basically, for me personally, the Rocky franchise is probably my favourite franchise. I think it's probably, I think it's like the best written, and I think it's the best other than like Lord of the Rings. And it's got, just Apollo Creed is fantastic. He's one of my favourite characters ever. And I think that Carl Weathers plays him amazingly. And also Predator is one of my favourite films ever. It's one of my most nostalgic childhood films. And so Carl Weathers is amazing in that. And the most important aspect that I need to get across is this guy wears a moustache like nobody's business, right? And I appreciate a good moustache. So he's a fantastic actor. He ages bloody well. For a guy that was ripped in Predator and Rocky and was that bulked up, to still be like in good shape for a man his age, good for him. In general, I'm going to say this is the way.
Okay, next up, we are gonna go for. We'll go for the main man right now. We'll go for Boba Fett. Now, this is Boba Fett from The Mandalorian, of course. This is the Mandalorian pop. I won't be collecting the Book of Boba Fett pops. I'll say that right now. But we'll see. There's some really cool pops coming soon, isn't there? Like, nothing officially announced yet. But with some of the characters and species of characters we've seen, there's some pops I'd love to get. But Boba Fett, what have you made of him? I mean, he's not really featured in the last 2 episodes.
Okay, so that's not really important to me because, I mean, those 2 episodes where he wasn't in it, pretty damn good anyway. I'm one of these people that I quite like the characterization they've done for Boba Fett in his own show. I think that characters need to be able to grow and change, and that's not always necessarily a good thing. Characters can be changed from what they were and made worse, but I think for a character like Boba Fett, what they're trying to achieve is, you got to realise Boba Fett is getting up there in age. And so he can't be the young gunslinger type warrior, like badass, goes in, kills everyone, the way the Mandalorian is. Because we've the Mandalorian, and that's his role. He's a younger guy, he's the new generation's Boba Fett and more. But with Boba Fett, they're trying to do more like a Godfather type thing. And I think they're really building up to show that badass moment where he really just starts.
That's what I was about to say.
Slaying.
I don't think we've had that moment where he just like, this is Boba Fett. I mean, this is what the fans have been waiting for. I don't think he's had that yet. And I know he's had the limelight stolen from him. But yeah, I feel that Boba Fett has not had that moment yet. He did defeat that 6-legged beast in wherever it was. But it didn't really do much for me. I don't know why. I was just a bit bored.
I think what makes him cool is that he's a survivor. He went into the Sarlacc pit. He got out. He was among Tusken Raiders. He survived. They keep throwing him into these situations where a normal guy, he's not like a Jedi. He can't just like jump his way out of trouble. And you know, like, we got to remember, like, he was made to look like a clown by Luke Skywalker by being thrown into the Sarlacc pit in such a comedic way. Overall, I'm going to say wizard. But he has potential to go higher, but he also sadly has potential to go lower. It just depends on how they execute him further in the story.
Okay, next up, guys, is actually an unboxing. So we're doing an unboxing on the rankings episode. So inside here we have got Cobb Vanth. Now there is a chance it could be the chase. So you know, if it is a chase, it will look like Cobb Vanth because he will have the helmet off. But if he doesn't have the helmet off, it will just look like another Boba Fett. So if it does look like another Boba Fett, we don't talk too much about the pop, but we'll
straight to the Sarlacc pit.
But we'll rate the character.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you unbox this.
Yeah, got him.
Let's see. He's never unboxed the Funko Pop, so let's see his little reaction.
So do I rip it?
Yeah, rip it or cut the tape.
All right. So what you're saying? So, sadly, it's with the helmet.
I thought so. I spoke to someone on Instagram and I was like, I don't think Amazon give out chases.
You got to have some balls as a company to say that's Cobb Vanth.
Wait, is the pop alright? Is the condition alright? Looks alright.
Cobb Vanth is alright. He's decent. He's played by Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah. And
he's in one of my favourite movies, The Girl Next Door. One of the best comedies.
I thought you were going to say Hitman.
Hitman? Nah, don't care about that. Girl Next Door, great film, 2004. Emil Hirsch. Watch it if you haven't seen it.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah, is the juice worth the squeeze? So yeah, with that said, I really like the actor. I think just for me, it's balance.
Just right now where the character's at. That's what I was trying to tell you about Greef Karga.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing's happened yet for him to be that high. Like you wanted to put him to top tier, Greef Karga.
Yeah, I would. Still would.
But Cobb Vanth, then we are going to go for balance to the Force. But yeah, unfortunate we didn't get the chase. That means I'm going to be Funko Pop hunting for the chase. So if you're in a Tesco, Charlie, and you see a Cobb Vanth Funko Pops, get the chase, mate.
I'm never buying a Funko Pop in my life.
Next up, we're going to go for Cara Dune. Now, let's try and whiz through some of these because we've got quite a few left. Cara Dune as a character, I thought I quite liked her introduction. She had like a little wrestling scene with Mando at the beginning.
She's hot. She's hot.
That's disgusting.
I like her. She's got like this nice little mole here, whatever it is, like a tattoo. It's a tattoo.
Mole.
No, but it's like a beauty spot. Anyway,
it's a tattoo.
But male gaze aside, what I'm trying to say here is, I think the gun. She's one of these female badass characters where I actually think, damn, she is actually pretty badass. One of my main complaints of a lot of these like badass female characters is that I don't actually feel like they can beat up a guy. I feel like most guys would beat them up. You know, it's kind of like Black Widow where she's like dancing around people's heads and then like they just happen to fall over. Like I get it, it's a movie, I can buy it to a certain degree. It's just like, you know, it's just how movies are. But she's actually badass and she, you know, she gives a decent performance. For me, balance to the Force. Yeah, I think she's overall, I like her. She's great.
Are you going balance?
I'm going balance. She's decent.
Right. Cara Dune, balance to the Force.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we've got Bo-Katan. This is the chase pop. I've got the chase version and the standard common variant. But Bo-Katan, I mean, another character that's come from the Clone Wars. Same voice actress who actually plays the character as Bo-Katan.
I've not seen the Clone Wars because I just haven't. It's not really my vibe at the moment. But when she turned up in the show, she was cool. I liked her. She was fine. Design wise, I like the hair. I like the costume. I like that she's got her own like vibe going on. Overall, I like the fact that she wanted the Darksaber, and as a character, the idea that she's kind of this sort of neutral force. I know that she's got this like backstory and lore where she's kind of accidentally set a curse upon the Mandalorians and all this stuff. She's fine. The actress looks cool. Overall, I'm just going to say balance to the Force. She's neither that great or that bad. She's got potential though, because obviously it's going to be a major plot point later on in the sort of Star Wars Disney Plus universe.
It'll be interesting if she comes for the Mandalorian and comes to kill him to take the Darksaber, but he could give the Darksaber to Luke, and she can't kill him.
The problem is like Mando can't like give the saber away. It has to be full.
I know, but she might go to kill him. But he hasn't got it on him, you know what I mean?
So basically, however that's going to play out, it's interesting, and the fact that her character's got that baggage is probably what makes her, pretty compelling. But there's not really enough for me to say like beyond that balance to the Force. That's where I'm at with it. The pop's fine. The detail on the body's decent. The face is a bit bland, but the hair works quite nicely. Thank you very much.
Balance to the Force.
Balance.
Right, from one female to another, we're going to go for Ahsoka, another one from the Clone Wars. Now, I don't know, I thought Ahsoka is really, really cool. It feels like I've watched Ahsoka for years and years on like through previous Star Wars films. I feel like I know the character so well, but I don't. Like, I've seen her on screen for maybe 30 minutes in all, like total runtime, but I think she's great. I loved her her own episode when I can't remember what the place she went, but she slayed everyone, didn't she, in the forest and all that. But I've loved Ahsoka, and you could see that she had that previous history with Anakin. But yeah, I love Ahsoka. I think I would put her in This Is the Way, to be honest.
For me, I never watched the Clone Wars stuff, so I've only really got to like go off what she's been doing in the current Mandalorian shows and that. She's fine. I really like the actress, whatever her name is.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she was in Clerks 2 and she was the Night Nurse in the Daredevil stuff. So she's cool. I like her when she turns up and stuff. And so they made a really good casting choice with her. I think the pop looks really nice. They put a lot of work in the costume, the design, the lightsabers, the hair. It's all really decent. But I'm going to be charitable and give Wizard.
Okay, next up, I actually haven't got the pop on me. The pop's arriving tomorrow, but it will be on the camera now for you guys, but we just haven't got it on hand. We're going to talk about Luke Skywalker holding Grogu. Obviously, it appeared in the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. And another pop coming out of Luke Skywalker is the one with his hood up and he's got the green lightsaber. That one looks really, really cool. But Luke, solely in the Mandalorian, what have you made of him?
I think he worked really well the way they used him. I watched the YouTube channel Star Wars Theory, and to watching Star Wars Theory's reaction where he's like crying his eyes out because Luke's turned out. Like, I'm not there when it comes to Star Wars. I'm not someone who like... I didn't bawl my eyes out basically when Luke turned up. But I still thought it was really cool, and it was very satisfying after what we got from the sequel trilogy, where I just did not really enjoy that much. After Force Awakens was alright, but like the rest are just not for me. So to see Luke Skywalker come in, badass, messing everyone up, it almost had that kind of moment in that was in Rogue One with Darth Vader, where he's like just chopping people up and going crazy for like a minute. It was just really satisfying to get something after Return of the Jedi that where you see Luke just being really cool. Yeah, and it just works so perfectly as a wrap up to the end of the Mandalorian season, and it was just so cathartic.
It just took it a completely different direction, though, didn't it? I didn't see that coming.
You almost feel like the current Star Wars like filmmakers couldn't give you something that good to enjoy. So overall, I was just really impressed. I think having Luke Skywalker in the story, the way they did him, it's just going to be so cool to see what they do with it moving forward.
So ranking him.
Oh, I mean, like this is the way. Luke Skywalker's the best.
Now, we've got 4 more left, sorry. Quick one, Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. This is just the bastard with the big machine gun in season 1. I think he just fires the machine gun rapidly for ages.
Is this the guy that...
This is what I was thinking.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't think it is.
Anyway, I think this is fine. I like the big guns. That's fun. The Pops looks decent. But again, like I don't really have anything special to say. This is like balance to the Force. It's fine, but there's not really much more to it. It's not bad in any sense. That's why it's not going like I've spoken. Just balance to the Force. There's not much to really say about him, basically.
You're going that high? Balance to the Force?
Yeah, it's just not bad. It's not. It's alright. It's decent.
Okay, so we've got 3 more left. IG-11. What did you make of IG-11?
I liked him. I would say for what he brought in at the time that he was brought into the story, I'll say balance to the Force. Fun character, serviceable to the plot. Didn't really do anything majorly spectacular. The idea of this robot that can sort of target hit everyone is a little bit broken in terms of how good he was at like taking out all these bad guys. But overall, decent. The design's fine. The head is actually quite interesting because he's built for war and that kind of thing. But yeah, there's just nothing really exemplary about the character that really gets me. Balance to the Force, not bad, but just decent.
Okay, guys, so we're down to the final 2 pops now. So we've got Grogu and the Mandalorian. So, the pop I've chose is the Mandalorian with Grogu. This is the unmasked one, the one without the helmet. Charlie, have a look at the pop and tell me your thoughts on Mandalorian, the character then. I mean, try and keep it as brief as you can. Don't go for too long.
I like the moustache.
Yeah.
It's decent. I think for Djarin, he's cool. He's got a really cool sounding voice. Whenever he's sort of talk, like basically because you can't see his face and you can only get his voice from the helmet. It's pretty cool. You get a lot of his character from the way he moves, and he's like a classic cowboy, but in like space armor, which is pretty cool. The real heart of his character is the connection that he has with Grogu, and so his characters obviously this is the way. And I say that goes for Grogu and for Djarin. They're both really cool. And I think this pop is particularly good because you've got the special details of him holding Grogu, so it's like 2 for 1. And this pop emotes a little bit. I like it.
It's quite a rare moment. I mean, that moment doesn't last for very long in the episode, does it?
Yeah, this one, it comes at a pivotal point in the series, so and it's got consequences that play out. It's really nice. And
we have got, of course, the 10-inch Grogu. This pop's quite special to me now because this was my first pop that I bought in lockdown during the pandemic, and I was desperate to get this one, and they're still available in Tesco, which is quite surprising. But yeah, I love this pop. You've always said you prefer the bigger sizes, the 6-inch. And
I think pop heads. I think the pop heads, as an aesthetic, are much better at a larger size, in my opinion, because you get more details. They put more work into it. You got the little hands, and yeah, it's just decent. Look at this cute little guy. It's great, and the bigger the pop, the more I tend to like it. There's the Alien Queen that I liked. There was the Ben Grimm. There's the Groot one that you've got. It's really nice. So, but yeah, this is the way, obviously, he goes for Grogu as well, because he's a great character so far. And I think this character is going to be the next Luke Skywalker and the next heart of Star Wars moving forward in the series. And so, obviously, that kind of untapped potential is the heart of this character and the heart of the new Star Wars. Pretty decent.
So there we are, guys. So we have ranked every single character from The Mandalorian. Like I said, I've not mentioned some of the Book of Boba Fett characters, but I've tried to mention all the Mando characters that I've got through Funko Pops. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do let us know what your thoughts are on our rankings. Have we got some horribly wrong? Have we got some bang on? Do let us know. I'd love to hear what you think. And do let us know what you think of my brother. Should we get him back on the channel? I'm not sure if we should get him back or not. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, guys. Charlie, thanks for coming on. Have you had a good time?
It's been alright.
Yeah, so yeah, really good fun ranking this one, where we probably will do another one soon. Yeah, let us know what you think of today's episode in the comment section below, and I hope you guys do enjoy the Book of Boba Fett finale tomorrow night. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here soon for another video.